when I started on the racetrack, there weren't many women involved in racing, and of course I wanted to get the respect of my peers. Today, there's a lot of women trainers and a lot of women involved in racing, but when I started, there wasn't. And I guess I tried harder, and I never had a resentful feeling. I always got along well with all the men that were in the business. Primarily, they were all men trainers. But I got along well with everybody I was with, and I loved it so much that everything just kind of fell in place, and I got to make a lot of friends. And I was born and raised on the near north side of Chicago. I was born October 12, 1943. My parents originally lived on Division and Wells, and then we moved further north around the old Lane Tech High School, and that's where I lived. As a matter of fact, that's where I still live. My neighborhood was originally a German neighborhood. The movie show was down the street, and neighbors at that time were very friendly. There were a lot of kids in our neighborhood. We used to play all the games, kick the can, pie man, hopscotch. We had a season for everything. My girlfriend and I used to play cowboys and Indians with all the boys in the neighborhood, and we'd get sticks and pretend they were our horses. So we used to have a really good time. I'm sure a lot of people my age have the same type of background as far as how they were raised. We didn't watch television much. And Riverview was only about 5 blocks from where we lived, so of course that was a big event when we could go to Riverview. My dad and mother were very strong-willed. My father's side of the family, he came from a big family, and all the women that were brought up were very, very strong. So it made a stronger person of me all through life. And of course, from my father's family being so strong, I thought I could do anything, even though I had 3 brothers. I felt like I always had to prove myself and be tougher than usual, what girls are. Put your head up nice so you look handsome. This is the iron worker. He's been on R&R. He had a throat operation. That's why he was getting medicine. He was getting antibiotics so he could go for his throat operation. But he's on the road to recovery. He'll be running in a couple of months. He came out of his operation good. He had to go to Kentucky and was in ICU for a couple of days. It's very expensive, $160 a day at the horse hospital. No biting. This is Mayor Daly, and one of my owners, Ray Saborski, decided to name him in honor of the mayor. He was really, really impressed with what Mayor Daly did with the city, and he moved back to the city. As a matter of fact, he used to live in Tinley Park. So he decided to name a horse after the mayor, and this is Mayor Daly, and he won his first race last week. So we're very proud of him. Well, his brother isn't a meanie either.
Tell them about your special bedding.
Oh,
Betty's
yeah.
one of the few trainers that has a special kind of bedding.
The bedding looks yucky.
For the respiratory system in horses.
Did I introduce you to Dr. Nina Molodou? She's my vet here, and she's originally from New Orleans. She's been my vet here for quite many years. And she tells me what to do to make them all well so we can run and win races.
She usually just confides in me, and I say, yes, Betty, that's right. You should do that.
It's called Equilitter.
And it's very low in dust, and horses have a problem. Their respiratory system is their allergic system like ours is, and when they're cooped up in the stalls, they get exposed to a lot of mold spores from the straw and hay and dust. And this keeps their environment cleaner, their air in their little houses, so that they can breathe better when they run.
And this is our new baby. This is Balint. Him and Fielding, the little guy next door, they're like 2 new little stars. And he ran his first race last week. He'll be running on the 18th, so we're looking for a win with him. So we've been doing very, very well We won 3 in a row with the filly next door, Peppy Squeeze, since Manny's been here, so we're very proud. She won her last race at Hawthorne, so actually she had 4 in a row, which for a cheap horse is really a feat within itself. They don't usually win that many races. But this is San Souci. We're gonna go a mile and a quarter.
Oh,
We're gonna go to the training track. We're gonna go once the wrong way and twice the right way. So you can come out. That's the mayor.
We're gonna be in City Hall. He's already there, no?
So that's San Souci. He's a long way from home. He's learning the American way of racing. He was a jockey and his dad was a trainer.
And a jockey, right?
And a jockey, yeah. It's hard to get all these horses out within a short period of time. So we train both on training track and main track. The training track is used primarily with horses that go with ponies, but they do a lot of galloping, as you'll see when we go down there. As you can see, this is a magnificent racetrack. The trees are so beautiful. The only thing we don't like is around this time, the trees start to lose all their leaves, so we know we're leaving here. And it's such a beautiful track. Everybody loves it. Okay, we got the morning dew. That's my neighbor Kenny's horse getting a bath. As you'll see, there'll be a horse coming around here with a pony. They don't allow ponying on the large racetrack. And what happens is we're on a time limit here. We can only train for a certain period of time. In the summertime, it's 5:30 to 10, but as it gets to be later in the season, it's 6 till 10. So most stables don't have enough time to get their horses out within that period. So they'll send some here to the training track. It's a smaller track. And they'll send horses here, or these horses might relax better on this track because it's smaller, there's not as much around it. Yeah, this is the mayor coming here right now. He's gonna pull up as he turns around and then he'll start galloping the right way. Now he'll stop and let him stand and relax for a minute, and then he's gonna proceed to go around the track twice before he goes home to get his bath. Kind of a brisk morning, so you can actually see their bodies smoking, so that'll be kind of neat. How many more you got for? Two. Okay. Yeah. The babies. Okay. Okay, thank you. This is my other neighbor, Valerie Miller. She's another lady trainer here. Yes. And this is Tom.
Hi.
My fiance.
Yes. And Tom is Valerie's right arm.
Yes.
So Valerie's an excellent trainer. She only has a few horses here like myself, but she's done very well over the years, and she's worked for some of the most famous trainers in the country. She does an excellent job, and right now she's kind of like our outfit. She's a one-man gang, you know. Except I have help. I have Manny because of my bad leg and because I can't do the work anymore. But this is what I used to do too.
You started way before me.
Yeah, but I mean, for you, how do you?
Still lousy for women.
For you, how do you think it was?
To get started
It was
as a
really
woman
bad
trainer?
then.
Yeah.
Still lousy.
Well, I would say
then.
it's very tough. Basically, this is still a man's world. This is still a man's world. Very difficult to get owners, which is the number one important thing in this game. I think there's still quite a bit of prejudice against women trainers, and it seems like the only women trainers that are doing well are ones through nepotism. Either their family got them in the business, or they worked for, you know, somebody like Lucas or somebody big that gave them a shot. But not even the women don't get much of a shot in the larger New York and California outfits, it's always the men that get the shots. But so it was hard for me. The way I started, I just started with my own. I had to start with my own, and that's how I got my trainer's license. And did real well with her, and then started getting clients a little here and there. But it's tough. You know, I'm about on my way out because I don't have any clients. You know, I can't get the people. And the thing is, I'm not a big promoter because I'm too busy working. You got to be a promoter. You got to be up there in the clubhouse on the cell phone, you know, telling the people what they want to hear, whether it's the truth or not. I'm too honest. You know, and so I'll probably go back to working for somebody else here soon.
Fortunately, the day of the big stable is kind of gone. We still have some big stables, but the guys that used to have 5 and 6 and 10 and 20 and 30 head, they're all gone. Now a lot of it is partnerships. People get into partnerships and maybe have one horse or 2 horses. So that makes a lot of difference. And like Valerie, we've both earned respect from our peers, but our peers aren't the guys that give you horses to train. Unfortunately, this is like anything else in the world. A lot of it is who you know, not what you know.
I've known Bettye, what, 20 years? Half my life, most of my life.
Yeah.
I've known Bettye a long time. Betty's the best. Betty's #1.
Oh.
She's like the
pucker
she's like the ambassador of horse racing, Bettye Gabriel is.
Yeah, he's part of my family too.
That's right.
Well, she must be famous gonna run in the pucker up.
She hasn't raced that much. She's only raced like 5 or 6 times. She's done good though.
This is a girl horse.
Mm-hmm.
Can
Her name
you
is
just...
Anagata.
Anagata.
The trainer, yeah.
Isn't she cute? Well, we have to let Javier go.
I gotta go.
Well, you're so wonderful. You know, I'm going home. When I get that wonderful, they're drunk. You know? Because when they start looking good, I know, okay, it's time for me to go home.
We were at a wind down party.
Yeah, it was
last
very
night.
nice. It was.
Racetrack party.
It was. It was.
It's the end of the season here, so that they're always kind enough to throw us a nice party with dinner and drinks and dancing. And of course, we don't get out much, so sometimes we have to have
We make
one
a
drink
good
too
go of
many,
it.
and we do some dancing. So Sharon,
Nice.
tell them about what you do, what your world of racing is, kind of how you got started and what you're doing here now.
Well, I worked for my brother-in-law in the barn as a groom, as a, I don't know, assistant.
We used to call it a
whatever.
hose lady.
Hose lady. I gave a lot of baths, is where they get that. And then, I don't know, then I started in...
You were a spotter, you got to tell me.
I
you
worked
were
for
a
the
spotter.
clocking, where they, you know, as the horses are working. I did that for about 6 years. So now I'm working for the Illinois Thoroughbred Breeders and Owners Foundation.
I work for the Illinois Racing Board. Sometimes we wear a few hats. I work in the license office, which every person that participates in racing has to be licensed. Fingerprinted, they fill out an application, get their license, and then they're good to go. I also, which is here, work for the state veterinarians, basically handling all the paperwork that goes on in our detention barn, where the horses come, samples are collected, and basically we just do all the paperwork. And I assist our veterinarians.
My name is Dr. Joe Lokank. I'm one of the official veterinarians here at Arlington Park. My job, I'm on the track in the afternoon watching horses warm up and saddle and come back, and in the mornings we are available to watch horses work off the veterinary list and do pre-race exams and hopefully keep things on an even keel and everybody playing by the same rules.
When Dr. Lokeen say a lot of horses at one time or another they may come back and they're not in as good shape as they are, they might have an injury, and it's his job. He'll go up like after this next break, and horses they have to, as he said, work off the vets list. They may have had an injury, and he has to check to see that they're going well before they can race, and it protects the public and protects the horsemen also from any injury or any form of a problem with the horses getting hurt.
Well, I started back at the barn working with my husband, grooming the horses, galloping horses, ponying horses, and then when my sons got old enough, they took over my positions there, and I was looking for something else to keep going in the industry. They started riding, both of them started riding professionally, and they said, you know, Mom, we're wearing the same clothes that Dad used to wear when he was a jockey. Nothing's changed. Can you kind of help us out and upgrade? So my sister is a seamstress, and we got together and we upgraded the fabrics and the styles and got the guys a little more with it, and we customized everything they do, because even though you think, well, all these guys weigh approximately the same, they're all shaped a little different. Their comfort zone, how they want their pants to fit when they ride, how they want their shirts to fit. So we customize everything for them, make them just the way they want them, and then we hooked up with the Jockeys Guild, and it's the more or less the Jockeys Union, and we put the Guild patch on the jockeys' pants, and part of that money goes back to the Jockeys Guild for the Disabled Riders Endowment. So it helps cover the disabled riders that have been hurt, accidents on the racetrack.
My mom, when I first started, I was going through school, and I worked at the racetrack, a part-time job, and I was selling popcorn and hot dogs, and she didn't want me anywhere near the racetrack. She wanted me to either be a secretary or something like that. Well, I lasted as a secretary for about 6 weeks, and I didn't like that. So then I was going to school to become a beautician, and at the same time, I had gone to take the fingerprint technician tests for the city of Chicago. So I was just about 100 hours from graduating from beauty school and had the job at the track. And I said, oh gosh, where have I been? I should have been here a long time ago at the track. So that's when I met my husband at the racetrack. So it was 3 months before I dated my husband, and then we got together, and he was really nice, and my family really liked him, and that's how I got involved. But my mother used to hate when we would travel. We'd go from Chicago to New Orleans, and she used to cry all the time when we'd leave, and I'd say, Mom, we're not going that far, and I'd always make them come to visit for the holidays. And as a matter of fact, they wound up coming to live with us in New Orleans. I would make them come and stay the winter, so they liked it after that. But she used to cry and say, oh, I hate to see you go. But it's all worked out over the years. Afterwards, she was proud of me, and my dad was very proud of me. He couldn't believe that I became a trainer and actually had winners. He used to come out to the track in the morning. That was after he retired, and he was my fix-it man. He would fix the feed and help if anybody had any problems with anything. He'd always hammering things together and fixing everything around the barn. So he had a real good time with it after, and he was very proud when we'd have a winner. Kind of stick out his chest and say, yeah, my daughter had that winner. So he had known everybody there for years and years. And it's been a great journey.
I came to the track about when I was 13, 14 years old, and had a friend who was kind of piddling around the track, and I started hot walking and liked it, and every summer, that was it. I was hooked.
Or she met him.
I do everything from riding them to all the paperwork involved. So I do a little bit of everything.
And you were assistant trainer.
I've been assistant trainer for Christine Jenks and Wayne Catalano, so I had good background.
Yeah, you worked for Michelle too, didn't
And
you?
I worked for Michelle
Boyce,
for
another
5
woman
years,
trainer.
so
Yeah.
I had a lot of background with some good trainers.
Now they own and have horses and partnerships, and they're doing great. Really good.
There's a lot of things that women just get along better with some horses. They just have a lighter touch or a gentler touch, and then there's guys who, there's definitely horses that guys are better for, and that they just get along better with them, and then there's definitely horses that respond much better to women. So I think they need us.
Now you can see here's one coming with a pony, and he's probably a little bit nervous by himself, or else he runs off, and he's a little bit stronger than the rider can handle. So he goes along with the pony, and it kind of relaxes him. That's like his buddy being with him. And here's a horse coming by that she's being ponied, so she doesn't have any weight on their back, and sometimes they like that. We have colts, and they're a colt till they're 5 years old. Then they turn to be a stud. That's with all the equipment. They come with everything. And then a lot of colts or studs, they get too fractious and they don't keep their mind on racing. Their mind is going along with Mother Nature. So what we do is we geld them. We neuter them. They still have their business, but not what goes with it. And so they're called geldings. And then we have fillies and we have mares. A filly is a filly till she's 5, and then she turns into a mare. Once you've been around horses for a while, you can tell them just looking at them. Just like people, the fillies and the mares have a more feminine look about them. They're softer looking, their lines are a little bit softer, where colts and geldings, they have a big, stronger neck, just like people would. Their bodies are just made different. So when you've been around them for a long time, you don't even have to see their private parts, and you can tell one from the other. Let's see, where's my mayor at? Oh, he's coming off the racetrack. He's going back to the barn now to get his bath. My part of it is I loved grooming. When I worked for my husband, he taught me how to groom and taught me everything about the horses. And I used to, we'd be stable with different people all the time. So I used to watch what everybody else did, and everybody has different ways. So I'd just put it in the information bank and always wanted to learn new things. I'd read all the publications and look at everything and want to try different things, where my husband was from the old school and you just did it one way. And then after a while, I began to pick up on new ideas. And nowadays, everybody on the racetrack says if a new product comes out or a new machine to help with therapy, they always say, oh, go to Bettye. She's probably had it and tried it, and she could tell you about it. And I just broadened my horizons with it and was willing to try different things that most men, old-timers at the time, wouldn't even think of trying. They just had one way to go. How I got started with training was, my husband was a trainer, so of course I worked in the back with him after I decided that I didn't want to do anything else but that. And I used to help in the back. I groomed and would get the horses ready to run and was involved in every aspect. So we had children at the time, and then we started to split our stable. He would go to Chicago and I would stay in New Orleans. And one day he said, you're going to have to take your trainer's license out tomorrow because, you know, I have to leave for Chicago, and so we're going to have horses here and there. And I said, what? I said, I'm not prepared for this. I need to study. What do I have to do? And of course, was a nervous wreck. And he says, well, you can do it. You won't have any trouble. So the next day I went to take my license, and it's a long written test, and then it's oral. And I went in to take it with one of the stewards. Those are the judges at the racetrack that give the tests. So I went in there, and all morning long I just felt nauseous. I thought I was going to throw up. And when I went in there, I thought I was going to faint. I just felt, oh, so sick. And the steward was a wonderful man, just wonderful. And he said, relax, don't be afraid, everything's going to be all right. So first he gave me the oral, and I relaxed quite a bit. And I took the test, and I passed it. I was so excited, I couldn't believe that I actually passed.
Harry the Wizard claims in quickly, and Cajun Music starting to knuckle down to the task, is running home strongly, and then comes Babe's Bet. An eighth to go, it's Harry the Wizard in front, a length and a half. Cajun Music struggling to get any closer. It'll be Harry the Wizard prevailing. Harry the Wizard from Cajun Music. Third is Babe's Bet from a long way back, and Nick River checked in fourth.
Okay, they brought number 2 in the paddock because the jockey was uncomfortable riding him for one reason or the other. So it gives the trainer an opportunity to change riders. There's several jockeys that haven't ridden this race that are sitting in the jock's room, so they ask if somebody else would like to ride him. And if the jockey is available, he'll come out and ride him. And they'll bring him back on the racetrack and load up in the gate, and the race will resume. This is the outrider coming out, and number 2 will be coming on the racetrack in a few minutes. The reason it's taking so long, they have to take, each saddle belongs to each jockey. So they have to take number 2's equipment off and put whoever the jockey is, his equipment on the horse. He's coming on the track now. Oh, I'm a spectator, yeah, quite often. A lot of days I'll just come to the track and watch horses run. Of course, being a trainer and having a claiming stable, I have to come to the track and watch horses run to see if there's something that I'd like to claim. Maybe I might see something that I think another trainer is doing wrong with the horse and that I might be able to help. So I'll look for that and look at different horses to see what I like about them for future prospects for owners. Also, it's fun just to watch and sit and my neighbor might have a horse running in the back of the barn, the stable, and I know he's doing good and I want to come and see him and root for him. It's exciting every day because it's something different every day. Of course, I love the horse, and that's the main primary reason I'm here.
And a replay, the 10 last woman of the first turn of the Breeders' Cup Classic. It's back to second last now. It's Peace Rules, 2 in front going to the back stretch. St. Leah running a second, funny side.
And this is the paddock we're looking at. The horses are coming in, getting ready to run. They go on the far end of the paddock, and each one are checked for their tattoos because each horse has a different tattoo, and the tattoo has to match the color of the horse. Then they proceed on to each of the alcoves, which is called a paddock, where they're saddled by their trainers. A valet comes in and they help the trainer with the saddle, put the saddle on the horse, and then they come outside and walk around the paddock again before they race. The trainer each give instructions to the jockey on how they want him to ride their horse. Then they proceed out of the paddock and parade in front of the grandstand so all the patrons can see them. And then they head toward the gate and get ready to run. The process takes usually about 15 minutes, 20 minutes between each race. The horses are parading around now as some get nervous standing in the alcoves. So they walk them around and let them loosen up so their muscles don't tighten up. And it also gives the patrons a chance to see what each horse looks like. Because some people like to bet on horses for a different color or a different name or whatever. They might like the white shadow roll on their face. The purpose of that is so a horse doesn't jump from the shadows. That's why it's called a shadow roll. Sometimes in the afternoon, the sun can cast shadows on the racetrack. These are all trainers and owners standing in the paddock waiting for the jockeys to come out. And when the jockeys come out, they'll inform them on how they want them to ride the horses. That's the call to post. There's approximately 10 minutes before they get to the gate. So, I mean, that just goes to show you, and the owner wanted to run him on the grass, and I didn't object to it because he's bred for the grass. His breeding indicated he'd love it. But he was getting beat going short, so the other trainer never dreamed that he would go on, you know.
He's never tried.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, that's the whole part of this. You have to not be afraid to try something different. You know, if this doesn't work, you try something else. And that's the whole secret, I think, of training is trying to find out what your horse likes, the distance. Sometimes you don't think a horse can run a route and he'll run all day long.
I had just read an article the week before about how owners, how trainers need to be more responsive to owners.
Oh, I think so too. I think years ago they weren't.
Send it to me.
Years ago people didn't, trainers didn't even want to talk to the owner. They just wanted to call him when it was race time. Here comes Funny Side, probably the best thing in horse racing in a long time, probably since Cigar. He's so beautiful. He made his owners proud. It's a bunch of guys that just got together and bought a racehorse and made history. We're getting better. Renee, would you mind showing them your horses? Pardon? Oh, she's got 2 on the walking wheel, so you could come and look at them on the walking wheel. Are they over here? Which ones are yours?
Right here, this chestnut filly.
Oh, she's beautiful.
Yeah, she's Best of Luck.
Best of luck.
And here's an Ocala filly right here. She's from Kentucky. This one's from Ocala. It's a Reality Road.
Oh, great.
Yes, I bought him as yearlings.
What'd you pay for them?
Oh, that's a surprise.
That's a surprise, yeah.
That's
They'll have it in the catalog. We got to move over this way a little bit. We got so much action going on in here.
Busy morning.
Yeah.
And I bought him all as yearlings, and I trained him, broke him, got him used to ride, and we're ready for the 2-year-old and training sale. So hopefully we'll get lucky, and I'm real proud of them. They're very nice horses, and I think we're going to do.
Tell them what you do for a living.
Oh, I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse, but this is my passion. This is always, for all of us, a labor of love.
Right.
But you have to really enjoy and love this sport to come out here every day. We do this every day, rain or shine. You know, every day of the year we're here, and horses are totally dependent on humans to give them care and love, and so when you buy one, it's not a hobby, it's a lifestyle.
This is Sandra Salmon, one of the most renowned women in racing. You're originally from New Orleans,
I
right?
am from New Orleans.
Yeah, but she can tell you a little bit about her background. She's done a lot of things in racing.
I sure have, Betty, and that's what makes racing so enjoyable, because there's so many different avenues in which a person can take in order to be in this great business. When I was 5 years old, my grandparents used to bring me out to the fairgrounds, and we'd sit and watch the races, and I was just mesmerized by it. Not so much the gambling end, but I did used to wager a little bit more when I was a kid, because they always bought the tickets for me. And after I completed my studies at LSU, the racetrack is where I knew I wanted to be. At that time, as Betty knows, there really weren't very many women on the racetrack, so we were the pioneers that now we see so many women enjoying and coming into our sport. And I started out as a hot walker, which is, as one knows, kind of the lowest realm on
the beginning.
On the beginning, but that's the greatest way to start. And you know, I always thought being a woman in racing was really an advantage and not a disadvantage, because I didn't have any inhibitions about going and asking any of the male trainers, what do I do?
Right.
How can I do this? And I was lucky to have great friends along the way that taught me. And you know, I said, gee, I see all these people doing it. I should really strike out and see if I can do it. So I took out my trainer's license in 1974, and I was pretty lucky and had a nice small stable of horses. My dad was in racing and was an owner, but unfortunately he passed away before I ever got a chance to train any horses for him. And along the way I've met just so many wonderful people. And now I'm in the business as an owner, and I just bought 2 brood mares, so now I can even say a breeder. But along the way I've made friends that, you know, I'll have for life. And there's nothing like getting up and seeing that sunrise come up over the
so
fairgrounds.
Beautiful.
It's just, this is home.
How you doing, Cookie?
I'm doing just fine, Betty. How you
This is Donna Nappy. She was one of the first jockeys in Chicago. And she did really good when she was riding. Now she's a vet's assistant for our vet we talked about yesterday, Dr. Vince Brenzick.
And that might be
Say hi, Donna.
I said hi.
She might be my assistant really quick,
Yeah,
like
when we go to Chicago.
maybe sooner. I might have to steal you from him. Good to see you this morning.
She's putting forced retirement April 1st, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm telling you. Everything here is quiet.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody's healthy and walking on 4 legs.
Good.
So we're doing our therapy with our filly and we'll see what happens next.
And we're
Morning. This is Kelly.
Hi.
This is my jockey.
How you guys doing?
She was a jockey, now she got smart, she can be a doctor.
Yes.
Watch your back, Kelly. He's gonna bring him around.
That's right. I think Miss Betty's gonna make you start.
That's right.
You could have lied a little.
You know, you've had more female participants. My mother was probably one of the first racetrack executives back in the early 1970s. And so since that era, since the early 70s, you've seen riders start to break in, trainers start to break in. I think it's a natural progression. I think females seem to have much more of an affinity at an early age with horses in terms of their interest in riding as a hobby or showing horses. And it would seem to me it's a natural progression to carry that on through on the professional level. We're beginning to see now more interest from females in terms of administrative type positions, and you know, our industry is a very unique and very specialized industry, so it's very difficult to break into whether you're a boy or a girl. But just the level of interest is much higher now, and I think as the years have progressed, we've seen more female participation, and that'll continue to grow.
This is Chaplain Les. He makes sure and we say a prayer every morning at break time, which is 8 o'clock, for the safety of our horses, our trainers, our riders, everybody that works here. So we keep religion mixed in with our occupation too.
Betty is a very good horse trainer, got a positive attitude and a good influence on these people here. And we just appreciate her and love her very much.
Oh, that's such a compliment coming from a very good man.
Be with me, Lord, when I am in trouble.
Be with me, Lord, when I am in trouble.
You who dwell in the shelter of the Most High, will abide in the shadow of the Almighty. Say to the Lord, my refuge and my fortress, my God in whom we save. The word of the Lord.
May the Lord be with each of you.
And also with you.
The reading is from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
Filled with the Holy Spirit,
Crawfish.
You know what? I cooked the fish too long.
Fish?
You mean the etouffee or the jambalaya or the...
No, the trout.
Oh, yeah, did you get home?
No, I had it on the grill outside.
That's all right. Yeah, that's all right.
Trying to do too many things at once. But it'll taste good.
Oh,
No
but she don't eat
presentation.
fish. She doesn't eat fish.
No presentation. I was going to have her just take a little teeny taste. Okay, this is a crawfish. This is Louisiana. Most people suck the heads. I never got that far. take the first feeler off, press it, and tail comes right out. Have a taste.
It's like a shrimp.
It's like a lobster, spicier, tastes better than lobster. I don't suck the heads, but local people suck the heads. They say that's the best part, the fat's in it.
So just open it up.
Pull the head off.
Okay, like that?
Yeah, take the head and throw the head down in the garbage. No, you kept the head. Get the tail.
There's my teeth.
Okay, throw the head away. Then you take the first
and pull it off.
part, go around and pull it off.
Like that's the...
No, not the meat, the shell.
The shell.
Oh, and I eat
Pull the
this?
shell around.
Yeah, you eat that, but you want to take the first
I think
I'm
piece off
talking
of
like
the shell.
I know, but I see Betty doing
Okay,
it.
show me now, Betty.
Then
Oh,
you,
you don't
then
know?
you just
You
pinch
pull
it
it
with
out.
your finger.
Oh.
Take the
Okay.
vein out and here, try it.
Thanks.
I'm going to show you again. Pass me another one. Okay, you take the head off. My permanent home is in New Orleans, Louisiana. As everybody knows, 4 years ago, New Orleans was hit by Hurricane Katrina, and it destroyed so much property, it was unbelievable. Neighbors and friends had gone to the house to see how it was, and I was devastated. When I went back in January, driving in from New Orleans East, as I came toward my neighborhood, which is right as you come over the lake, it looked like a bombed area. No people around, no businesses open, nothing. And when I came to my house, I just couldn't believe it. There was destruction everywhere, trees down, and the whole house was ruined. And I had to completely have it gutted and have it sprayed and have it sterilized to make sure there was no black mold. It's a pretty terrible experience, and they still don't have everything fixed, but this will give you an idea of what things look like and how things had to be disposed of. I had never been in a hurricane before. Several had been in the area, but where I lived, it had never flooded before. I had to rebuild, and it was just finished the spring of this year. Of course, it's lovely now, but it was really a terrible and devastating experience, probably one of the saddest things I've ever gone through. Yeah, it's right there. Eugene, I got one more. Whenever you can fit me in. Oh, okay. People always ask, well, what was your favorite horse? And believe it or not, they've all been my favorites. I love them. They're all individuals. Probably my favorite of all time, well, not probably, he is G. Kinney Dance. That was the best one I've ever had. And that's what all of us look for as trainers. We try and look for that dream horse, and he was a dream horse. My girlfriend and I went to the Kentucky sales, fall yearling sales, and I spotted him about, maybe a quarter of a block from where I was at. And I told my girlfriend, I said, that's him. I don't know who he's by or what his name is or who he is, but that's the one I want. Oh, God, I only had $10,000. I said, I hope I have enough money to buy him. If I don't, I'm going to have to figure out a way. So then I went and looked at him close, and I didn't want to act too interested because I thought if I act like I'm really interested, then the price, maybe someone will bid and they'll go up. So I kind of was looking at him out of the corner of my eye, and then I'm looking at other ones to pretend I'm not looking at him. So anyway, I was very nervous the rest of the day. I'm thinking, oh God, I know I won't get him. And what if I have to borrow money? Who could I borrow money from? Because I want him so bad. It was just the thing, like it was fate. So they brought him into the ring, and I'm looking, my heart was beating so fast. I could barely stand it. And I made eye contact with one of the guys that takes your bid. And the auctioneer's going, well, I bought him for $6,000. My girlfriend didn't even know I bought him. She was sitting right next to me, but I was bidding by eye contact. And I just loved him. I sent him to New Orleans, and at the time, my husband was down there and my stepson at the training center. And I said, oh, wait until you see this horse. He's the most beautiful horse you've ever seen. Oh, I know he's going to be a champion. He's so beautiful. Well, the other one I bought was tall and very lanky and kind of sophisticated looking. And this one was just short and kind of chunky. He looked like a little fatty. So they get him down there, and my husband gets on the phone and he says, oh, that horse is so good looking. Oh, he's such a nice horse. I can't believe you got that horse. He's really handsome. He says this European guy was here, and he said, oh, he looks like a classic. He said he's such a nice color and everything. He says he's dark bay. I said, no, you've got the wrong horse. It's a little chubby chestnut horse. That's the one. He says, him? So anyway, I said, yeah, that's him. So they thought the other one was going to be the special one. So anyways, they started breaking him and training him, and he's just smart as a whip. Well, he came to the racetrack, and of course, I was just so crazy about him. So we went to Arlington, and I started to work him. That's when they go fast. And I was so excited, and everybody that got on him thought he was really, really smart. So I was still thinking, oh, I don't know. So I put him in a maiden race, and I brought him up to the paddock, and he just behaved himself so well. But they had all these other horses that were bred by these really good studs, and all these trainers had these real expensive horses in there. And mine was just standing there nice and quiet, not doing anything. And he won his first race. So I was so excited. So then I ran a few more times. He won again and ran third, and then I entered him in this great big race. And everybody on the racetrack was so excited because this was like the little nobody getting a chance at the big shots. It wasn't just great for me. He was great for everybody around me. He was inspiration for everybody. All the little trainers were inspired. My grooms, my help, everybody was just in awe of him. And the reason I had gone there to buy him was I was very depressed at the time. I had lost my brother, my mother, my father, and my husband's twin, and I think he was a gift for me to start my life over again because I was in such deep depression. And he did. He brought me out of it, and my brothers and my whole family. He was like just a gift.
Here's number 6, G. Kenny Dance, owned and trained by Bettye Gabriel, Garrett Gomez in the irons. Arlington victory, winner's thing that is. Total, right turn to quarters is in, then G. Kenny Dance. And Al Sabine in full stride, going right to the lead, and there goes Return to Quarters, followed by Freight Trainer onto the main course. Return to Quarters takes it almost a length. Freight Trainer down along the rail, second, Words of War into contention right there, third. Al Sabine is fourth, Dancing Jake Racing now fifth, G. Kenny Dance in sixth, Bettenberg down along the rail, 7, Bricks Image Racing eighth, Critical Quad, then along the rail that is Kobar, and on the outside Luck Now Bubba. That's the 11 of them. They head for the far turn. Return to Quarters on the outside. Freight Trainer along the rail. They leave the half-mile pole. Freight Trainer now puts a neck in front. Return to Quarters right alongside, second a length and a half. Words of War right there, racing now in third. Battenberg down along the rail and to the outside. Al Sabine. Return to Quarters reclaims the lead. Freight Trainer coming back. Words of War. Al Sabine to the outside and along the rail. That is Battenberg and their well bunch. Here they come, spinning out of the turn. Return to Quarters. Al Sabine to the outside. Battenberg moves strongly between horses. Freight Trainer not finished yet along the rail. Down the stretch at the 8th ball. Freight Trainer is coming back. Then Return to Quarters. Al Sabine, and on the outside, G. Kenny Dance. G. Kenny Dance like Whirlaway. Here comes G. Kenny Dance to take it on the wire. Freight Trainer second. Dancing Jake third. The Archward from Arlington. 6, G. Kenny Dance was first. 1A Freight Trainer was second. 4 Danson Jake finished third. 1 Bettenberg was fourth. The entry running 2-4. G. Kenny Dance can also run a bit. Please hold all tickets. Ladies and gentlemen, in the winner's circle, Arlington salutes G. Kenny Dance, the Arch War champion, 1991.
When I won that big race, it was amazing. I was upstairs in the turf club with my children were there for the race, and my girl, my best friend, and her mother, and there were a bunch of us, and we were so excited and so nervous. And then he won, and we got stuck in the elevator going down to get our picture taken. Well, everybody thought I had a heart attack or something. They thought I passed out. So we finally get down, and we're coming out of the tunnel at Arlington Park to go to the winner's circle, and everybody is yelling and cheering on both sides of the clubhouse and the grandstand. All my peers, trainers and grooms and veterinarians, and everybody that was there was just screaming and hollering and cheering. And I tell you, I broke out in tears. I was just, it was just the most exciting and breathtaking moment of my whole life, and I'll never forget it as long as I live. One day I'm at the barn, and this fella comes in. His name is Sid. He's with a big trainer here a big owner here in Chicago, Frank Calabrese. And he comes over to me and says, "How you doing?" and everything. And he says, "Frank would like to buy your horse." And I said, "Well, he's not for sale." And I said, "But thanks for the compliment. Tell him I feel very complimented that he would like to buy him, but he's not for sale." So he says, "Everything's for sale." He says, "You know, how much do you want for him?" And I said, "Look, go back and tell Frank he doesn't have enough money to buy this horse. I feel complimented, but he's not for sale." So he went back and told him, and Frank and I have been friends ever since. I think, you know, well, at the time everybody thought I was crazy because that was a lot of money that he offered. But I thought, what would I do with it? I'd leave it for my children and probably try and find another one just like him. And at the time, he brought so much happiness, and I felt like he was a gift to not only me, but my family. And I could never sell him. So I refused to sell him, and they made some offers from New York, and I refused to sell him to them either. And I thought, if he never won a race again, the joy that he's brought my family and everybody around me was worth it.
Hit number 4747, consigned by Marco Farm Agent. Bay Colt by Devil His Due out of Oshie Flew by Matchlight. 10 stakes winners for Devil His Due this year, led by upbeat.
What I usually do when I come here to pick out yearlings is I'll start out with the catalog, and we have another publication that's put out by the Blood Horse, and it gives all the statistics on studs bred to certain mares and what the percentage of winners are and what the stud fees are. And what I usually do is mark my catalog what stud fees, whether they've been bought at a previous sale, what the mares have done, if they're unraced, how many of them have been, how many of the second dams have been to the races, crossbred with those sires, and what the percentages are. So that's the first thing I look for. When I come here to Keeneland, of course, I go look at the horses and I try and find the best conformation I can for the limited budget that I have to spend. And then I try and put all these different things together and come up with one that can run. And they sell 4,500 horses here, so there's pretty much a horse for everybody in every pocketbook range. So that's a little bit of what goes into buying a yearling. Now the next step would be to send them to a farm to be broke. We call it going to school, and that's where they're taught to be ridden and change leads and go to the gate. And then the next step would be after that, they turn them out and let them have a growth spurt where they'll grow a little bit more, and then we put them back in training before they ever see the racetrack. Sometimes they're not mature enough and you have to turn them out and give them more time to grow and develop. So some of these yearlings might not even start till they're 3, so they may have to go to a farm and rest to grow a little bit more. But it's a lengthy process, and hopefully we'll all have a champion next year.
This is a new hope. Little speedball.